shocking when it ends the way it does because it's quite sad.
Yeah, it's it's funny because you feel like you've gotten emotionally invested in the journey without even really knowing what the story is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, but no, I think it's deservedly a classic. I can't think of any one. There are other great rock songs and great things that I like, and really amazing music by Zeppelin, for instance, but I can't think of any one um, rock tune that tries to do and succeeds in doing so much in 6 minutes.
Yeah. I wonder what your theory is as to why. I mean, as you were talking about the fact that this song in particular, of all of the songs, I mean, you think about songs that have been written in the time that most people on this planet are alive, you're talking in the hundreds of, you're millions of songs,
Right.
right? Many of them very popular for at least periods of time. What is it about this one in particular you think that gives it that not only staying power, but also that broad appeal?
Well, if I could answer that question, Edgar,
Yeah.
but I have to, yes, that I would be, I'd be in the lucrative side of the music business.
Mm,
But I think people ask me a lot about, people use labels all the time with the kind of music that I do, and classical music is one thing that they use, and then we talk about classic with the pops. And what I kind of say, I think the best definition of classical music is not music based on Greek ideals of balance and proportion, and it's not music that is played by people in powdered wigs. I think the definition of classic as it applies to music is music that reaches people beyond the generation for whom it was intended.
mm.
There are so many period pieces. There are pieces that we thought, oh God, that's really capturing what I'm all about, when we're kids and then you listen to them 25 years later and you kind of go, don't really know what I saw in that.
Yeah.
But there are pieces that include pieces like Bohemian Rhapsody and include some Gershwin songs. I mean, Great American Songbook centerpiece things. Not all of them, but something like Love Is Here to Stay or something
Yeah.
like that. There are songs that can be played for somebody, 75 years after the composer's death, and they still go, wow, that's gorgeous. And I think that's what makes this, I mean, whatever that it is what makes Bohemian Rhapsody a classic.
Keith Lockhart, thank you for sharing your time with us.
You're welcome, Edgar. It's great to talk to you.
And that about does it for us. For now, the Curiosity Desk is produced by Aidan Connolly, Rachel Armani, Olivia Corcio, Hannah Lawson, Nicole Garcia. Patty Daniels and Jamie Bologna taught the entire staff how to do the fandango. Our engineer is John the Cloth Parker. Special thanks to Andrew Massawa. We will be right back here in 23 short hours. If you can't wait that long, we got a podcast version of the show you can check out wherever it is you get your podcasts. Till next time, I'm Edgar B. Herwick III. Stay curious out there.
What's trending? What's interesting? What's going on around town? We're talking all things arts and culture on The Culture Show, next on GBH 89.7.
Funding for our programs comes from you.
And Discovery Museum in Acton, hosting its annual Nature Play Festival on Friday, July 10th, offering immersive nature-based activities outdoors and inside from 10 to 4. Open to all. Learn more at discoveryacton.org. Thursdays just got a lot more drama. Catch Back-to-Back Mysteries with My Life is Murder at 8, Beyond Paradise at 9, and Astrid at 10. Tonight on GBH 44.
You're listening to 89.7 WGBH HD1 Boston. Online at gbhnews.org. GBH News. What matters to you?
I'm Jared Bowen. Coming up on The Culture Show, we're live from Provincetown, where freedom, unfettered creativity, and fabulosity are all part of the town's DNA. And in the legendary John Waters, who has been a summer fixture here for decades. The filmmaker, writer, and one-man cultural institution turned bad taste into an American art form, from pink flamingos to hairspray. Now he brings his sensibility to P-Town's Town Hall by way of his show, Going to Extremes. From there, we hit Commercial Street, where Daniel Gómez Llata keeps one of Provincetown's oldest jobs gloriously alive. He's the town crier, and dressed in pilgrim shoes while brandishing his bell, his full voice cuts through the summer crush, delivering the day's news with ceremony and some old-timey Cape Cod pageantry. Then Avital Segalin. She was an artist Picasso and Brancusi admired, whom Hans Hofmann, who counted many a famed 20th century artists as his students, told there's nothing more he could teach her. She spent the better part of her 90-plus years as a working artist, never seeking fame. Now it's found her, as a new exhibition at the Provincetown Art Association and Museum reveals. And Jujubee, Boston-born, Lowell-raised, and Provincetown bound. The Drag Race favorite brings the timing, the voice, and the wattage to RuPaul's new movie, Stop That Train. This summer, she takes the stage in Liquid for Gay at the Red Room. That's all right now on The Culture Show.
The Culture Show is made possible in part by a generous contribution from the Fiducia Fund, proud to support this station's arts and culture programming.
I'm Jared Bowen. This is The Culture Show on 89.7, broadcasting today from WOMR in Provincetown. Ahead of the 4th of July, we've come to a place where freedom is not just a holiday word, but part of the cultural fabric. Provincetown has long been a refuge, a stage, and a proving ground, a town where artists come to perform, experiment, and commune. In summer especially, that history is everywhere, in the galleries, theaters, clubs, and streets, where art is central to the identity of this place. To begin this hour, we are joined by someone who has become a Provincetown cultural institution all his own, John Waters. He's built a career of peeling back American normalcy to explore the deeply demented and the sublimely strange. He started in Baltimore with Divine and the Dreamland Players, making low-budget movies that were rude, hilarious, and often unhinged. What followed has been one of the most singular bodies of work in American film: Pink Flamingos, Polyester, Hairspray, and Serial Mom, to name a filthy few. Comedies about taste, class, crime, celebrity, and the peculiar performance of being respectable. His career has since expanded into books, visual art, and live performance. And now Waters is coming to P-Town's Town Hall with Going to Extremes, his new live show, which he performs Thursday, July 23rd. It's presented by Payomet Performing Arts Center and finds Waters back on stage with a fresh set of stories, provocations, and observations. John Waters, welcome back to The Culture Show. It's great to be with you again.
Thank you for having me again. Yes, I did this show last year, the same thing. It's very To Kill a Mockingbird to perform at Town Hall, but it's a great venue and a great audience.
How is it To Kill a Mockingbird? You just the ornate...
Well, it looks like it. I mean, Town Hall, it really feels like To Kill a Mockingbird, definitely.
So what does it mean? It's a relative term, going to extremes when you're involved.
Well, I've always gone to extremes my whole life, but aren't we living in a very extreme time now, no matter what your politics are? So I'm trying to use humor as how to win. We don't try to make our enemy feel stupid, even when they are. I mean, racists liked Hairspray. They were so stupid they didn't get it was making fun of them. So we use humor to get people's opinion, and then you can change their mind. Humor can be terrorism, but good terrorism, the kind that just surprises people and makes them listen.
Well, I know you are an avid consumer of news, and you're getting all manner of newspapers and magazines. Is it challenging for even you to keep up at this point?
No, I still have 100 magazine subscriptions, and they get thinner and thinner every week. But every morning in Baltimore when I'm home, I get 5 newspapers delivered. Then I read about 6 online. I don't read every word in them. I read what I need to get out of them for material. And I get 100 magazines a month. So I am always up to date on I like to read the Wall Street Journal because the editorials are smartly written by people I don't agree with. And when I want to read editorials about people I don't agree with that are dumb, I read the New York Post editorials. But I think it's important to read both.
Well, how have you never found yourself in the crosshairs or some sort of Twitter exchange or Truth Social exchange with the president?
Well, I remember when he came out and said Baltimore was rats and roaches, I was on every talk show in the world saying, we love rats and roaches in Baltimore. In Hairspray, Ricky Lake kicks a rat off her shoe on her first kiss and wears a prom queen gown with roaches all over it. We exaggerate and embrace what society uses against you, and then they're powerless to use it against you. But Trump, I don't know if you saw it, went pretty viral online. I went to the No Kings March in Provincetown, and somehow protest rallies in Provincetown always feel a little futile. Even the Gay Pride March here, I think, isn't that redundant? But I had a sign that said Trump ruined bad taste, and he did. That's not even fun anymore.
No. Well, how do you parse something like what we're watching unfold with the Kennedy Center?
Well, the Kennedy Center, I love the pictures of them taking his name off it. And everybody quit. Even, I think, Kid Rock didn't come. I don't know. So, I don't know. I knew Kid Rock a long time ago. He was different. He was going to be in one of my movies. I liked him. I knew Roseanne, too. She wasn't like that then. People get brainwashed. We need Ted Patrick back. Remember, he used to kidnap Moonies for their parents and deprogram them.
Oh. Speaking of which, I understand that you delve into conversion therapy in your show. I'm not asking you to do your act, but you delve into that whole scandal.
Do I? Maybe that might have been the show last year. I'm always thinking that we need to do that today, the people that get brainwashed by Fox News. But I go on Fox News every time they ask me and sell so many books when I do the shows on there. So I embrace going to enemy territory. And they treat me very fairly.
Which is what I think people are surprised to find, that you can actually have a discourse in this country. Isn't this what we keep trying to come back to, is that most of us can have a conversation, most of us can look across the aisle?
I'm not a separatist. I believe that everybody, if we can make each other laugh, we can change things. And I'm for the first time ever radically in the middle, because both the left and the right have no sense of humor anymore.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. As soon as you start preaching and thinking you're better and telling people what they have to do, they go the other way. I think, some people get why people are upset about drag queen storytelling in kindergarten. Fine, I'm for it, but don't use that in the election as a thing to run on. Do that after we win.
Well, speaking of
pick your battles. Pick your battles.
Speaking of drag queen storytelling, how is Provincetown this summer? When do you get there, and how much have you been out and about?
Well, I have a house here now, so I come lots of times of the year. My favorite drag queen here is Dina Martina, but I don't think of Dina as even a drag queen. It's really brilliant. It's performance art. It makes fun of drag in a brilliant way.
We're okay with that now? We can make fun of drag?
Yes, if you are a drag queen, black people can make fun of black culture. Gay people can make fun of gay culture. It's trickier crossing over, which I also do.
And how do you do that?
Well, I said let's have reverse. What's it called when you hire people by race? What's it called?
Affirmative action?
Yeah, reverse affirmative action. Search far and wide for the most untalented African American poet. The worst gay hairdresser, the most talented heterosexual florist. And let's celebrate them.
Okay. To what end?
To just show that we're really diverse.
Oh, okay. I wasn't ready to lead Washington before, so let me go back to that. The reflecting pool, the gift that keeps on giving as we see how the algae blooms.
Yes, I know.
How are you dissecting that, and what metaphor is that?
It's a polio pit now. You can't go in it.
Do you spend much time in Washington?
No, Washington and Baltimore don't mix at all. In Baltimore, everybody thinks Washington Square, and in Washington, everybody thinks Baltimore's hillbillies, and they're both right.
Okay. Do you go out and about during Bear Week and all the other public things?
I wrote a book where I took LSD again when I was 70. But it was Bear Week, and even I couldn't go out tripping for the first time in 50 years on Bear Week. But I'm for the phenomena of it, yes.
You just mentioned 70 and taking LSD. You just turned 80 a couple of months ago. How did you celebrate?
Yes, I did. Well, I did 9 birthday shows. I exploited the hell out of it. And then I went to vacation to London, and then I went to the Marquis de Sade, the ruin of his castles in the south of France.
Oh, my goodness. Have you not been there before? How is that possible?
No, I haven't. Why? Have you?
No, but it does seem very John Waters-esque.
Yes, it was a romantic journey.
What is it? Does it feel any different to be 80?
Well, to be 80. Well, yeah, I mean, it feels a little different, but I did 59 shows on the road last year. So my doctor said to me, whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Well, this is what I actually have nightmares about memorization. And I remember the last time we were together was at the Coolidge Corner Theater when you were getting the Coolidge Award and you were just in the process of memorizing your Christmas show. How do you do that?
I don't do it so much anymore because it's now a religious sermon and a rant with a pulpit. It's a 70-minute monologue completely written. But I'm like a preacher. I read parts of it. But I also I'm in different shows. I do acting jobs, and I have to memorize dialogue. I'm much better at memorizing something if I wrote it than when someone else wrote it. That's much harder for me.
Well, speaking of which, you're about to be an American Horror Story. Speaking of Provincetown and Ryan Murphy, who has a huge presence there.
But if I talk about it, I'm fired. So next subject.
Okay, so we'll move on to you're having a group therapy session as part of your show. By the way, if people are just tuning in, I'm speaking to John Waters, as if they didn't realize, and his new show, Going to Extremes, which is at Provincetown Town Hall on Thursday, July 23rd, and then special VIP section, you're doing group therapy after. Which group of therapy?
Well, it used to be called a meet and greet, but I got selfies. I got COVID from doing selfies, so I don't do them anymore. So now we have a group therapy thing, and then I'm on the stage, and they turn around with selfies, and I walk down like the red carpet, and they get the picture. We share each other's shame. If I wasn't this, whatever this is, I would definitely have been a psychiatrist or a defense lawyer for the guilty.
Is it out of empathy?
No, I just think everybody needs somebody to stick up for them.
Well, that's very kind. Were you like that on the schoolyard?
In the schoolyard, I just wanted to get away. They would never let me do what I wanted to do. And to this day, no one has ever asked me if I went to school that has paid me a penny. But if you want to be a brain surgeon, you have to go to school.
Okay.
If you want to be the Pope of Trash, you don't have to go to school. And I didn't call myself that. William Burroughs did.
Well, speaking of William Burroughs and great writers, all the people like Tennessee Williams, Norman Mailer, Mary Oliver, who've also made P-Town their home, did you intersect with all of those great figures?
I knew Norman very well. I knew Mary Oliver. I worked in her partner, Molly Malone's first bookstore here when Mary wasn't even famous. I was with them when she got the Pulitzer. I knew Norman well. I knew, who else did you say? Tennessee Williams I didn't know. But I genuflect every time I walk past the A House. That's where he met his long-term boyfriend, Frank Merlo, and he wrote The Kindness of Strangers in this area. So certainly his presence. I saw Judy Garland dead drunk walking down the street a couple weeks before she died in Provincetown, and it was like the miracle scene, La Dolce Vita. All gay people were running, and my boss said, "You can go, you can leave work." It was hilarious. It was like the Virgin Mother appeared.
So word was, of course, this is pre-cell phones. Word was just spreading that Judy was out there?
Yeah, and she wasn't appearing or anything. She was just there, and people are so used to thinking it's a drag queen, but it was her.
Wow. Well, from one icon to another, Taylor Swift and all the mania about whether or not she's getting married nearby on Rhode Island, possibly. Are you following this at all?
I love her. She has the best manager. She manages her own career. I met her once, and she said, "Oh, John Waters, I love your films." I thought, "You do?" I was like amazed. I'm all for her. Good for her. And she controls her whole career, manages. That's one smart woman.
If you could put her in any film, what would you do with her in terms of casting?
Well, she would play the opposite. She would play, you always win the Oscar if you play a drug addict.
Yeah, that works.
I always said if Dolly Parton got out of drag and played a drug addict, she would win the Oscar in 1 second. Nobody dislikes Dolly Parton. I have never met a person who could say they did not like her. I think she probably has the highest likability than any celebrity alive.
Have you spent a lot of time with her?
No, but I went to Dollywood, and all the restaurants are all you can eat. And those carts for people that can't walk, they have thousands of them around. So I was just amazed going there. But yes, it's worth going to.
It's better than Disney World. Do you spend much time at Disney World?
No, I've never been there, and I don't want to go there. They wouldn't let people with long hair, gay people in the 60s. I remember. The most important thing is I've been to Elvis's mansion, and I've been to Dollywood. And in between is the tiny Tina Turner Museum that is so pitiful in this mall. And I said, has Tina ever been here? And they said, no.
But it's just no connection to her.
No, and well, the gift shop is so good. And they acted like no one had been there in 2 years, and maybe they hadn't. There's one billboard. You
hadn't even been to Paisley Park, Prince's place in Minnesota?
No, I haven't been there, no. I always wanted to have, I'm jealous of Elvira as my friend, and she has a slot machine in Vegas. But I want a John Waters slot machine where you always lose, and you know that, for a photo op.
What's going to happen to your house one day?
Which one?
Will it be, whichever one should be a museum, will it be a museum?
Well, I think the Baltimore one, I don't think so, no. I left all my artwork to the Baltimore Museum and made them name the bathrooms after me.
Well, yeah, that I do. And there's artwork in the bathroom, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a giant photograph of Otto Preminger being surprised by the paparazzi after he came out of the bathroom where it looked like it might have been a number 2.
Okay. What does that look like?
His face was, It's the same way when people come out of the bathroom on an airplane. If they make eye contact, they urinated. If they don't, it was number 2.
Years of scientific study to understand this?
Well, I'm on planes a lot. I don't think anybody should ever go in the bathroom on a plane. Eliminate before you leave home.
We'll move off of that.
All right.
Before I get defunded from PBS NPR, what did you make of that whole thing about us losing our funding and being out on our own?
I mean, maybe that's a badge of honor. I don't know. I think you'll get it back. To me, I know Trump, he doesn't want you to read. I don't think he even read his own book that he didn't write. I mean, can you imagine Trump this past weekend curled up with a novel? I can't.
I can't even. Speculate what novel it would be. Can you? If he were to do,
no,
if he were to read one.
No, maybe Ayn Rand.
Yep, that goes. Well, last question for you: How should people prepare for going to extremes? I think we've just given them a pretty good sense.
No, yeah, and none of that's in my show. Just come with a sense of humor and be ready to laugh at things, mainly about yourself that you shouldn't laugh about. And I think that is good therapy.
Well,
I think everybody leaves my show feeling better about themselves, even though I talk about hideous things.
Well, it's a good philosophy. John Waters, it's always great to be with you. Thank you so much for joining us and kicking off our Provincetown Hour today.
All right, thank you.
John Waters' new live show, Going to Extremes, is at Provincetown Town Hall on Thursday, July 23rd. It's presented by Payomet Performing Arts Center, where you can also find tickets online. Again, thank you. With us. I'm Jared Bowen. This is The Culture Show. We're in Provincetown today, coming to you on 89.7 by way of WOMR and streaming on the GBH News YouTube channel. To understand Provincetown, it helps to follow the person whose job is to walk the streets, brandishing a bell and broadcasting the news the old-fashioned way, with a full-throated voice. That person is Daniel Gómez Llata, Provincetown's town crier, a role this lively village has had off and on for more than 170 years. He's part town ambassador and part public news anchor, calling out announcements, events, and proclamations to passers-by. This being the high summer season, he has plenty of information to impart, so as soon as we walked off the ferry yesterday, I caught up with him at Town Hall, just in time to hear the town's tidbits.
Oh, And today, the first day of July, is Canada Day.
You're the town crier, as we just heard. How do you see your role, the information you impart?
My role, I am the self-appointed ambassador of this town of Provincetown. And my duty is to promote Provincetown and all things Provincetown with panache and pizzazz.
You have to have it in kind of spades in order to stand out here.
Well, being a town crier, you have to be the kind of a person who's willing to put yourself out there to take whatever they throw at you because it's coming.
Wait, excuse me, sir?
Yes.
Did I hear you say it was Oh Canada Day?
Oh, Canada!
Is it really? You said you announced it.
Are you Canadian?
Yes.
Did you not know that it's your anniversary?
No.
Oh, dear. 159 years of your confederation.
Stop it.
Tell me about the strength you need in your voice. How do you do this every day?
I had to start by aiming at a lower voice. I threw my voice out the first couple of days I got this job, and I had laryngitis.
High tide today shall occur at 1:18 a.m., reaching a height of 10 feet, 8 inches above mean low water.
In this time, this age of 24-hour news, how do you select what news you're going to impart?
Almost without exception, everything I say is local news. I especially do the local shows, nonprofits, events.
The Wampanoag Mashpee tribe will celebrate its annual powwow this weekend.
I almost never do national news unless it directly affects Provincetown or the outer part of Cape Cod.
But you just announced that it was Canada Day. That's international news.
That is true, but I have a lot of Canadian sisters and brothers up north, particularly in the Ontario and Nova Scotia town crier guilds.
Speaking of the guilds, you're a champion. You're literally a champion crier.
You know, during the pandemic, I did win first place in the American virtual competition. But one of my British counterparts said, take it, a win is a win, accept it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So tell me, you, in addition to your proclamations, your announcements, you're also the ambassador, as you just said. Do you answer trivia? Do you guide people, especially this week when the hordes are flooding off the ferries?
So I work for the Provincetown Chamber of Commerce, and as such, I'm kind of like the Provincetown Chamber at large. So people who see me on the street, I'm the guy they pick out of the crowd and ask, where's a good lobster roll? Or hot or cold, what kind of lobster roll? Or where's a good place to get a drink? That kind of a thing.
If I were to ask you where our guest on the show today, John Waters, lives, could you tell me?
Never. A former mailman will never divulge such classified information.
What's your favorite information to give out, especially about this town and what you want people to realize about it?
Well, I have to hold my tongue a lot because I do know a lot of gossip, but I never let my tongue fly like that. I'll get in trouble. It's too small of a village. But I'm very fond about telling about the theater, not only the year-round theater we have in Provincetown, but the cinema, what's showing there year-round, and the nonprofits, all those things. And I just love it announcing the weather and the high tide every day.
Independence Day is coming this weekend. Bear Week follows July 11th through July 18th. And stock up your food because everything will be picked clean.
What is this week in particular? This week leading up to July 4th, how would you describe who comes here, what the energy is like to be here in Provincetown this week of all weeks?
This week of all weeks, we're on the end of the Provincetown Portuguese Festival, which just ended, and now we have all of the 4th of July revelers coming into town. So we have a bit of a blend here, but it's always Pride every day around here.
And finally, just tell me about your uniform. This is a very historic figure you cut.
Yeah, so I was told by a previous town crier that it's called a livery, not a uniform. But my outfit is based on 1620, as if I stepped off of the Mayflower. Today's outfit is a summer outfit that I would wear, tilling the fields. They would never show their bare arms. That was scandalous, but I like to tell people, though, when I'm dressing that I might be a pilgrim, but nobody accused me of being a Puritan.
Yeah, certainly not with this landscape. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day.
That is all the news that is fit to scream. Happy birthday, Canada, and may God bless our fragile democracy. Thank you.
Daniel Gómez Llata is Provincetown's town crier, bringing the news to the people and keeping alive a town tradition dating back to the 19th century. Well, coming up, Provincetown has helped shape American art for more than a century, from Edward Hopper to Jackson Pollock to Helen Frankenthaler, the artists who propelled modern art forward. We'll look at the institution that has been collecting, preserving, and exhibiting that legacy since 1914. That's next on The Culture Show. Stay with us.
The Culture Show is made possible in part by a generous contribution from the Fiducia Fund, proud to support this station's arts and culture programming.
This July 4th, the conversation across Massachusetts is getting a whole lot bigger. Listen to In Common, a new weekly show that brings together news reporting from the Berkshires, the Cape, and Boston all in one place. Every week, you'll hear the voices shaping life across our Commonwealth. 3 newsrooms, 1 statewide conversation. In Common premieres this Saturday at 2 on GBH 89.7.
Funding for our programs comes from you.
And Morningside Music Bridge, returning to Boston. The summer program shines a spotlight on young classical musicians from around the world, with concerts July 12th through August 7th at New England Conservatory. mmb.international. And Burton's Grill and Bar this summer features lobster rolls through August. Fresh lobster meat served on a toasted brioche bun, either warm with butter or chilled with house-made aioli. More details at burtonsgrill.com. And New England Botanic Garden at Tower Hill, a garden destination 50 miles from Boston. Visitors can discover summer with thousands of blooms, twilight experiences, art exhibitions, and educational programs for all ages. nebg.org.
On the GBH News YouTube channel, at the very tip of Cape Cod, Provincetown has always offered artists something rare, extraordinary light, a sense of solitude, and the freedom to experiment. For more than a century, that mix helped turn this small seaside town into one of America's great art colonies, with a history that runs from Edward Hopper's landscapes to Jackson Pollock's abstract expressions to Helen Frankenthaler's bold fields of color. Founded by artists in 1914, the Provincetown Art Association and Museum, or PAAM as it's known, has been central to that story, collecting the work made here, mounting exhibitions that connect past and present, and supporting the artists who continue to make Provincetown a creative force. It recently opened an exhibition of the artist Avital Sagalan, who spent the summers of 1945 and 46 here, creating art that would later draw the attention of Picasso and Brancusi. But she didn't favor much fame, and so it's mostly only in the last few years and since her death in 2020 that fame is now finding her. Joining us is Christine McCarthy, PAAM's Chief Executive Officer. Welcome to The Culture Show. It's great to see you as always.
Thank you, Jared. It's great to be here.
Well, before we talk about this really extraordinary art and the biography, the role that PAAM has in this community of really being embedded in the community, as I mentioned, it's this artist colony. How does it fuel that?
It's always been a place. It was founded by artists. Artists govern PAAM, sit on boards and committees and things like that. So the artist voice has always been pretty front and center in terms of how we program, what we show. And everything that we show has a connection to the Cape and the islands. Can be very, loose, but that's still part of the mission, as well as the collection. So our collection, even if you were here for a weekend, that still counts. But we really try to embrace Cape Cod, the inspiration that it has been for most people who come here, and why they continue to paint or create even after you leave. I mean, there's so many artists that have come here, for like 1914, 15 for a summer, but they were still painting Provincetown like decades after they were here. So I think it stays with you. And we see that quite a bit. The other thing that I love about what we do is that we show artists that no one's ever heard of before. I mean, yes, we'll do a blockbuster like a Frankenthaler or a Motherwell, but for the majority of the time, if you walk into the museum, 9 times out of 10, you won't know who these artists are. And so it's our job to bring this to the forefront and really introduce people to artists that came here for the same reasons as Lee Krasner and Pollock even though he was only here for a minute and he didn't like it, but that's okay.
Well, that's a perfect segue
Yeah.
into Segallen, this artist who worked for her the better part of her 90 years, very deliberately didn't seek the fame, as I mentioned, didn't seek gallery representation or dealers, but through the help of her family, she did see one show shortly before she died. Her work is coming to light, and people are bowled over. Were you bowled over when you saw it?
Yeah. When a proposal comes to us, we have an exhibitions committee that vets, and it's usually 4 to 5 years in advance. So when this proposal came through, first of all, I couldn't even pronounce the name. I was like, wait, who is this? And I always look at the proposals before we present, and I looked at her work, and I was like, who is this? And I started reading the bio, and I'm like, why do we not know about her? And so when I presented it to the committee, the reaction was the same. They're like, why don't we know who this is? And look at these exquisite pieces of art. And so immediately that was slotted for a solo exhibition. It just didn't happen till like 4 or 5 years later. And that's the other thing, you forget about these proposals. And then when you start really working on the exhibition, you're typically looking at thumbnails and, digital images. And when you actually see the real work, mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing.
Well, take me through what is so mind-blowing that you saw, that Picasso saw, Brancusi saw, that I hear there's this great story, maybe you can tell it better than I can, about Hans Hofmann, the great teacher of so many fabulous artists in the 20th century.
Yeah.
What did he say when he saw it?
She came here specifically to study with him in his summer school of art, and he told her that she did not need his instruction, that she already had a style. She had been studying at Cooper Union, and he didn't take her on as a student, which unheard of, especially for a female student. Interestingly, I've lived here for 25 years, and I walk all over town, and I walk a lot, and I see boats, I see sunrises, I see sunsets, I see seagulls, I see the pier. These are things I see every day. In an institution like PAAM, that's an art association where we do member shows, I see sunsets, I see sailboats, I see all that stuff a lot. But when I saw these, there was something so elegant and elevated about the quality of the work. The line is exquisite. Like her ink line is so beautiful. And there aren't a lot of elements in these compositions. And a lot of times the shape of a boat will kind of mimic the shape of a seagull. And there's this repetition. Also the elimination of detail allows you to kind of make your own narration up if you've walked down to the pier and seen this. And for me, I think a lot about artists that I've seen their work over and over again, and it's a specific sky or it's a specific dune, and now it's a Segallen pier. Like, that's how I'm going to start thinking when I walk down to the pier and look at that line and just the way that she's created these beautiful compositions.
Well, she, as so many artists have been, I ran through Provincetown this morning and along the seashore, and just, you think, my goodness, it's so true. The light here really is remarkably different from just about any other place I've ever been, and it is that gorgeous. She was seduced by it, too. How do you see her love of the Provincetown light in these works?
Well, first of all, they're very atmospheric, this work. And, I love her explanations because there's a lot of simplicity to the complexity, I guess. So if you look at one of the paintings that's in there, it's the sun setting, moon rising. And she said, that day I saw yellow. And so that's what I painted, because I saw yellow. And it's this powerful piece that actually was the piece used to get her a Fulbright scholarship. And that's where she met Picasso and Brancusi on that trip to Paris. But the idea, though, that she could literally take a color and, in a given day in Provincetown, it could be super foggy in the morning, and then it can be sunny, and then it can rain. I mean, the atmosphere and the light change constantly. And I think she really nailed it, especially with the series of fog. The fog isn't just placed over the piece. The fog becomes an element within the composition, and she'll pop a blue in there or a red, and all of a sudden it changes the whole feel of whether it's cold or hot. So you actually feel temperature looking at this piece, and which is maybe 8.5 by 11. I mean, they're not even that big, but what it commands, I think, atmospherically, is just completely powerful.
I was struck that people talked about, when she was in Paris, for example, the way she painted Notre Dame and the way she rendered it, again, painting it over and over again. But people felt like she took us to that building, a building that most of the world knows, in a way that no one else had.
Yeah, she invites you in. She invites you into these, she sucks you into these pieces, truly. And when you see, there's 4 or 5 from the fog series that are in sequence, and so you feel like you see the clouds moving, the weather pattern changing. So she actually can really capture that. Same with the piers, and a lot of the piers are gone now, and there's a few that you can see on the beach where you see the remnants of the piers. So you saw what she saw, and then now they've eroded, but that's still there. I mean, and I know that they were created in 1945 and 1946, which is a long time ago, but they're still so relevant to what isn't here today because it marks a certain place and time, but also what is here, and especially the landscape. And I think the light in the landscape, Mother Nature's the only one who really gets to control that here. And I think she just really, really captured that essence and that ethereal feeling of what Provincetown represents.
I'm speaking with Christine McCarthy, who is the Chief Executive Officer of PAAM, the Provincetown Art Association and Museum. We're talking about the exhibition Avital Sagalin, Mid-Century Provincetown, which is on view through August 2nd. We've been talking about the repetition, and I saw that she was also friends with Dizzy Gillespie, which means she loved jazz. How do we see that love of music and appreciation of music in what she was doing?
Well, I think that's a very interesting comparison. We actually had a classical chamber concert the other night that the whole program was built around her work. And a lot of it was about the repetition that you see, and like a note that repeats and repeats. You see a line that repeats and repeats, but there's this beautiful rhythm and elegance to the line. It's almost like I think about the Hopper collection that we have, which are drawings. And when you look at Hopper's line on a drawing, the way that he barely took his pencil off the paper, that's with her, this ink. It's this beautiful, elegant line, almost like a conductor conducting a symphony. That's how I feel about the work. And while you're listening to music and looking at the pictures, it makes a lot of sense. So there's absolutely a tie rhythmically to these pieces with not only jazz, but I think classical music as well.
So something that makes no sense, I think, to a lot of people is how somebody can produce work in the way that you're talking about it. And again, all of these other celebrated artists talked about it. Chagall found her work daring. What do we understand about who she was that she didn't care that it went out into a grand world?
Well, the thing that really got me is Betsy Searsma, who curated the exhibition. When she was there laying the show out, I was talking to her and she said, Avital was on my collections committee for years at UMass, and I never knew she was an artist. And I'm like, how could you not know that? I'm sure she had a lot of input into and she's like, I don't know. She never talked about it. And I think just in speaking with her family and understanding that she made the art for herself. She wasn't interested in commercialism or galleries or selling or anything like that. Whatever moved her, she put it on paper. And then she'd go somewhere else and she'd do the same thing. And she did this for decades and decades. So I'm so pleased that she was able to at least see the show at UMass before she passed away. She's one of the people that I wish I could have dinner with. Yeah. Like, she's one of the dinner party people. And luckily they have videos of her on the website so you can listen to her voice. And when I curate exhibitions of artists that I've never met or are deceased, I like to listen to their voices, and you could listen to her all day. But I think her whole point was that I make these for myself. I don't know if it's about helping her, mark her journey or, kind of, keep these for, looking back on a specific period or time. But it wasn't about the public seeing them. But that's why I think it's so important that the public sees them now.
And what about the fact that she was a woman making this art when she made it? There's that fabulous book, 9th Street Women,
right,
which shows us how women of the period were treated and how so many of them were not embraced.
Yep.
So what's the significance of her doing that then?
Well, I think the idea that, coming to Hoffman, there were many more men that took classes with Hoffman than women. But I think that, him telling her that she didn't need the instruction, I mean, talk about a boost. But I don't think she took it in an egotistical way. I think she took it as, well, okay, now I'm going to stay here for a couple of summers and I'm going to make this body of work, which she did. I think she would have done it anyways. I do. I think as an independent woman who, coming from Belgium to Portugal to the United States. And the other interesting thing is that while she was in Portugal, she really gelled with the Portuguese people. And immediately when she got to Provincetown, befriended Portuguese fishermen and Portuguese ship owners and boat owners, which plays into the body of work too. So you see all these connections, which I think are really just incredible. But, I think, one of the things she says, the art speaks for itself. And I think that she was very committed to that mantra. And I think that her she loved it. She did it for herself, and she didn't do it for anybody else. But I think it's sad that she didn't want to share it with other people, too.
Well, what is your expectation now as the art world becomes aware of her, as shows like yours happen now? What do you anticipate?
That you're never going to forget her. You may not have ever heard of her when you walk in, but you're not going to forget her when you leave. And I think that's, I do tend to walk through the galleries and just kind of eavesdrop on people who are in the galleries. And I heard a couple in there the other day that they were like, this work is so beautiful, and I can't believe, that they were kind of there weren't a lot of people in the space, so they were really getting to experience the whole feel of it by themselves. And it was so wonderful to listen to them talk about how this work was affecting them and how it really I think it might have been their first trip to Provincetown, because they were talking about when we came in on the ferry, type thing. So even though the work was made in 1945, they're still relating to it. It's as powerful today or more than it was when it was created. And I think that's really important too.
Well, it's extraordinary that you're doing it, and what an incredible story. Christine McCarthy, always great to have you with us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Christine McCarthy is the Chief Executive Officer of PAAM, the Provincetown Art Association and Museum. The exhibition, Avital Sagalan, Mid-Century Provincetown, is on view through August 2nd. Coming up, Boston-born Drag Race favorite Jujubee joins us live from Provincetown. She's starring in RuPaul's new movie Stop That Train and is about to open the cabaret show Liquid for Gay at the Red Room. That's next on The Culture Show. Stay with us.
Trade.
Huge responses from across Europe, from the Danish Prime Minister.
Climate.
Picture this all filled with ice.
Security.
Not only do we need to end the war, we also need to prevent the next war.
These are global issues, and to understand them, you need a global perspective. I'm Carolyn Beeler.
And I'm Marco Werman. Join us for The World each and every weekday.
This afternoon at 3 on GBH 89.7.
Our programs are made possible thanks to you.
And New England Recovery Center, providing inpatient addiction treatment in state-of-the-art facilities located in Westboro, Mass. Learn more at newenglandrecoverycenter.org or by calling 1-877-MY-REHAB. Support for GBH comes from you and Furniture Consignment Gallery.
We have 4 locations in Massachusetts. We're in Natick, Hanover, Plymouth, and Burlington.
Jay Frucci, owner.
Working with the GBH sponsorship team is very easy, and we're able to narrow down the key messaging, and it's always very concise, but it's very pointed, and we think we're able to communicate our value in a very valuable way.
To learn how GBH can benefit your business, visit gbh.org/sponsorship.
Stay connected to your community.
Get breaking local news,
in-depth stories, and stream GBH 89.7 all in one place. Download the GBH News app on the App Store or Google Play.
I'm Jared Bowen. This is The Culture Show, live on 89.7 and streaming on the GBH News YouTube channel. We are live from Provincetown, joining from WOMR, right above Schoolhouse Gallery, I'll mention. Always a must-stop for me when I'm here. Airline Inthirath, known by the stage name Jujubee, is a Boston-born, Lowell-raised drag performer, singer, songwriter, and actor. An artist who dove deliciously into drag and surfaced as one of the most beloved performers to emerge from RuPaul's Drag Race. As Jujubee, she is a 4-time Drag Race finalist, a host of TLC's Dragnificent, and a presence across music, television, and theater, and now film. Jujubee stars in RuPaul's new big-screen drag disaster comedy, Stop That Train. She and co-star Ginger Minj play best friends and train stewardesses who leave the dreary... I think I added an extra one there.
No, it's trained stewardesses is perfect.
We are careening around Provincetown today with this show, who leave the dreary stank rail for jobs aboard the glitzy Glamazonian Express, only to find themselves staving off disaster as the train heads into Stormaganza. This is why I struggled so much with your description of your film. With RuPaul as president of the United States, Judy Gagwell, and a cast packed with celebrity cameos, the movie turns the comedy into high camp, high speed chaos.
Glamazonian is looking for 2 replacements. Now that could be us.
Opulent.
Luxury.
Oh my God, Tess? I didn't recognize you with all the crow's feet and sun damage.
Madam President, there's a Glamazonian Express headed directly into a massive storm.
It's a stormaganza.
You're on a runaway train?
Tell it to us straight.
There's a 0.1% chance of survival?
Tell it to us gay.
I load my Subaru with tools. I pay my ex Deb some vegan jerky to help me. We fixed that train in like 20 minutes.
It's so funny. I watched this yesterday. I think it was. I thought it was hilarious. Stop That Train is in theaters now, and from July 9th through the 26th, you can see Jujubee and Ginger Minj in person here in Provincetown, starring in Liquid for Gay at the Red Room. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful.
I want to dive right into we'll get to the cabaret, but the film, how was it to make this film, which it has the DNA of the great 1970s disaster films and Airplane, the 1980s Naked Gun, and you all nailed it. It's so sharp and tight.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to say it took us 19 days to film, and you would never know that we spent literally that amount of time. It seems like we spent so long on it, but Adam Shankman is an incredible director. He was able to pull the actress out of all of us. And my approach to this comedy was to play it like it was real life. And I approached it like it was a drama. So you would believe everything that I said. And, you know, I think it worked really well. And I'm so glad that the world gets to see us queens as not just queens, but we're actors.
You do have a gag reel at the end, which is hilarious. So definitely stay through the credits. But how did you, first of all, for people who don't know filmmaking, 19 days is nothing.
Yeah, oh my gosh, nothing.
How did you get through that filming without cracking up at every turn?
We did laugh, but when we show up to work, we're the type of queens that show up early, which is really important because if you are on time, you're already late. And we were always immersed in it. And that was the thing. It was a childhood dream of mine to always be in film. So when I finally got to do it, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, universe, for providing me with this gift. And we showed up and we showed out. So there was never any time to complain or to be in pain. And of course, drag is a painful art, but we love it so much that we will take anything. And to be on screen with RuPaul it's like no other. This human walks into a room and the energy hits you in the face. She's so magnetic.
Is it different from experiencing that energy on Drag Race versus on set for this film?
Oh, absolutely. Because on Drag Race, she's being paid to judge us. And on Stop That Train, she's judging us for free. It's fantastic because we get to be a cohort with RuPaul, and you don't really get that when you are on Drag Race because, you know, you're this scared queen competing for her love. And on Stop That Train, we are shooting scenes together and we get to joke around, and it's a completely different world.
Well, to go back to Drag Race, first of all, I want to circle back to something else you said. It's so painful to be a drag queen. How so?
Your feet hurt. You know, you have to put things where they don't belong. You have to tape things. The wigs are glamorous, but it's tight. And, you know, you work through the pain. Pain is beauty, right? And we're all gorgeous.
So how did drag come into your life in a way that it would change your life?
Well, I would say theater brought me to drag. And it's interesting because it's this full circle moment because drag has brought me back to theater.
Yeah.
You know, I always wanted to act, and theater was something that I always wanted to do, but it was very hard for somebody like me to find a role that fit me. And when I saw drag for the first time, it was the most beautiful thing that I ever saw. And I knew that I could do that too. And when I got into drag for the first time, it felt like this beauty that I've never seen myself as. And I looked in the mirror and I saw somebody who was beautiful, and it was me, but not me. So it gave me this confidence. And I always tell people I had to put so much on to reveal exactly who I was.
Well, I often wonder this, and you're saying this, so does that confidence from Jujubee, does that now live within you?
Absolutely. Because I feel like we all carry this love and this confidence in ourselves, but it takes something else, like this outside force, to actually let us see it, right? And drag did that for me, and drag does it for a lot of people. You know, like you don't have to be a drag queen every day. When we put on a suit or tie, that gives you that confidence. People who put on dresses or that beautiful red lipstick, that to me is drag.
Everybody has armor.
Absolutely. It's our cape, right? And then you could take the cape off, but that sensation of feeling powerful and confident will stick with you.
For people just tuning in, I'm speaking with Jujubee. We're talking about Stop That Train and Liquid for Gay at the Red Room.
What a silly name.
So, yeah.
Ginger Minj wrote this, so she gets credit for that.
So clearly you have this great friendship. That you did the film together, and now you're here in Provincetown together many, many nights, because it's on through July 9th through July 26th at the Red Room. Tell me about this show.
Oh, well, it's a wicked musical parody. Elphaba and Glinda are absolutely in love, and
what kind of love?
Good love. Maybe it's a push and pull kind of thing. What I find really beautiful about this story is that Ginger Minj finds a way to make this comedy into something that's teachable, and there's heart to it. That this is why she's so genius with her writing. And it's all set to Ariana Grande music, which I love Ariana Grande. She's on tour now. I'd love to see her. So, but if you can't afford those tickets, definitely come see us at the Red Room. And you can get tickets at redroom.club. And we're there Thursdays through Mondays at 8 p.m.
So how do you you go back to the teenage you, or was it even younger when you were in a theater program right here in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
How do you call all that back now?
Well, I did do some growing up in Fresno, California, and that was my first taste of theater. I was in The Wiz, and I got to play The Wiz, and I sadly never got to do it because there was one day where I was rehearsing and my teacher runs in and she says, "You have to go home." And my dad had passed away and I was 15 and I knew that my life was changing that day. And there's this yearning for theater for me because I knew that my love for it started back then and my dad was always so supportive. So the little kid in me is always performing for him.
Yeah.
And I'm 42 now, you know, and I always think about how proud my dad would be of me, and I absolutely know it. So every performance that I have is dedicated to my dad. You know, whether it's in drag or out of drag, he was always that guy that said, "I know you're different, but I love you no matter what." And this is a interesting thing for a Laotian parent who immigrated from Laos, you know, like through war. So he always carried this love for me. So that's how it is. And when I came to Massachusetts, I was in show choir. So we all know how great that is. So that led me to more performances, and I went to UMass Amherst for theater.
Going back to your dad, you just said you're 42, so you came of age in a time, not that it's entirely accepted now, because we certainly know it isn't, but where it's even less accepted. What was in your dad that made him so accepting?
His love for me. And I think that's just the honest truth. He always saw how people treated me because I was so different, and I'm a very feminine male, and I believe that some people are really uncomfortable with that feminine side, but I think being feminine is the strongest thing because femininity is frowned upon by so many different groups of people, but they push through. You know, and to be a man in this world and to be so in touch with my feminine side, I think scares a lot of people who misunderstand the strength of femininity and women.
Well, speaking of women, are you thinking about that? Because you think, of course, and train like an actor. So how do you think about the feminine power as you're thinking about your characters in Liquid?
Well, Elphaba is my character. She definitely is a very feminine energy with a masculine tone, you know, like people view her as this wicked witch, but I find that she's actually the nice one. She's just misunderstood because she's different. And when you come and you see Liquid for Gay, you're going to see that maybe Glinda is the mean girl. Maybe she's the one orchestrating everything. You do see us banter. You see us tell jokes. We tie in a lot of the stories of Wicked, but also in the world of Oz. And there's lots of Drag Race references. Not too many, because I think a few are just enough. And what I love most about Liquid for Gay is that there's this chemistry between Ginger Minj and myself that can't be faked. And I know if anybody saw Stop That Train, that chemistry is so palpable. You know, what do I there's this saying, it's so thick, it's like tenacious paste of milk.
Okay.
Which is cheese, basically. And the two of us together are fire, and you're going to see us sing and dance for a whole hour. It's a 60-minute show. There are no intermissions. So if you got to use the bathroom, use it before. And if you need your drinks, get it before, because you're not going to want to leave your seats. You're going to laugh throughout the show. And I will tell you, you might even cry. It's an emotional roller coaster.
How is it performing here? Especially on a day like this. I know you're not in the show yet, but when it's 1 billion degrees outside and, you know, people, maybe a little day drinking is going on, and then they roll into your show.
What I expect from here is I expect to be performing through people chatting, and I'm totally ready for that. We just did a month in Atlanta, and the audience there is quite different, but I'm expecting a lot of laughter, and I'm expecting the heat, but it's okay. You know, I'm from here. It's all good. It's a thermal blanket right now.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the attitude, too, from just being from Boston.
Well, we're kind, but we're not nice, and I like us for that.
Oh, that's a variation. That theme has come up on the show, but this is about the 4th time this week. That's so interesting.
We're very kind people.
The World Cup is making us look at ourselves in a different way.
Yeah, and you know what? And it should. People are jealous of us.
That's right. Jujubee, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm so grateful.
Also known as Airline Inthirath, known by the stage name Jujubee, a drag performer, actor, and recording artist. She stars with Ginger Minj in the movie Stop That Train, which is in theaters now. The dynamic duo also stars in Liquid for Gay, running July 9th through July 26th. You just enjoy me saying that, I think, is part of the issue here. On NPR, Liquid for Gay, yay! At the Red Room, tickets are available at redroom.club. And if you're in Provincetown in August, Jujubee will be the opening act for the Provincetown Carnival headliner, Tony and the Kiki. That's August 19th at Provincetown Town Hall. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
It has been a blast to soak up Provincetown over the last 24 hours. It's a spectacular community, and we appreciate the hospitality. And thank you for listening to another edition of The Culture Show. Tune in tomorrow for Pulitzer Prize-winning writer Ron Chernow, whose latest book is a revelatory return to Mark Twain. Plus, National Geographic explorer Tara Roberts joins me. The Culture Show crew is Max Chow-Gillette, Kate Dellis. Our interns are Katie McCabe and Adina Velasquez. Today's engineer is Dave Goodman. Eddie Hickey produced our YouTube live stream. Thank you to WOMR for hosting us. Thank you to the people who made today's broadcast possible. Maddie Dunn, the operations manager here. GBH's broadcast engineer Chris Kelly. Gary Mott, Sai Patel, and Josh Polanski, and GBH President and CEO Susan Goldberg, who is here with us today. I'm Jared Bowen. Have a great day and have a wonderful 4th of July.
The Culture Show is made possible in part by a generous contribution from the Fiducia Fund, proud to support this station's arts and culture programming.